Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Matt Solomon here, and I am joined by the one and only Mike Celada. Mike, welcome. Good to have you with us. Very good to have you with us today. Today, we're going to be diving into a really important topic, a topic that can make the difference between actually getting what you want and not, a topic that will be the difference between growing your firm and not, and a topic that will be the difference between having a life that is at the level that you deserve and not. And so today what we're going to be speaking about is the difference between thinking and doing, and how we need to have the right balance of those things in order for us to be successful. And in one direction or another, if it's out of balance, it can really throw us off. And so ultimately what we see is that accountants are really thinking their ways out of solving the problems, that when they overuse the mind, it actually gets in the way of doing what they need to do to make changes. And ultimately, thinking is not the thing that's going to change everything. You have to have the right balance of doing. And really, in a lot of ways, it's not just doing the work that's in front of you, but it's making the changes, doing the things that you need to do to get to the next level. So Mike, again, welcome in. It's so good to have you with us. And I'd love to get your perspective on this, just to talk to us a little bit about thinking and doing.
Yeah, awesome. No, great being here. I love these conversations we get to have. So I think you hit it on the head. Thinking alone won't change much. For most people, I think we all experience that. You know, what happens is we get into this rotation of the same issues, the same struggles, and we keep thinking about it, thinking about what we could do, what would be great, or we start to think about why we can't do something, why we have to accept the status quo, and why we shouldn't move forward. So I agree with you. You know, it's a double-edged sword. You need to think with action is the good part, but when we overthink things, sometimes we end up in paralysis by analysis, not sure if we can actually do it, or there's too many concepts and we're afraid to move forward, and we end up in that same cycle, and before you know it, the next deadline hits, or we're back in the same kind of grind that we've been in. So yeah, it's really tough to see people out there where they're trying to think their way through it, they're trying to think about what's best or why they can't do something, and it ends up with no growth, no change, and if there is any, it's incremental. So what I see a lot of people doing is just getting in their own way. And I know you've seen that too, Matt. It's just old patterns, old way of thinking, you know, just anchoring us from really living into our potential. So yeah, it's a tough one out there.
Yeah, and so again, you know, and I love these conversations. I feel like we could talk about these for hours, but we do want to keep the video shorter. But you know, just in terms of seeing people get in their own way, sort of using thinking as a way to sabotage themselves unconsciously. I have conversations every day with accountants, and I was just speaking to a couple last week that were partners in their accounting firm. And essentially what it came down to is they were working crazy hours, close to 70 hours a week. They were earning money that was okay, but it wasn't really allowing them a lifestyle. They were paying the bills basically, and just barely saving for retirement, even though they're working so much. And actually, in some cases, some of their employees were getting paid better than they were in the firm. So they saw all these things. They knew they were working their butts off. They felt kind of trapped in what they were doing, but there was an opportunity for them, and we really put a clear plan together on how they could step into the advisory role, what that would look like in order to step into work that they would enjoy doing more, that would free up their time, that would earn them more money. And what it came down to for them, even though it was all laid out, is that they needed more time to think about it. And this is something that happens a lot, and I have a lot of these conversations, and there's really two types of people that I speak to, and this is why I wanted to do this video. On one hand, there's the people that see the plan, and it's not for them, of course. There's another group of people who see the plan that they map out, or they see the opportunity that they can do, and they overthink it. And they try to think about what it's going to be, you know, 5 months, 6 months, a year down the road, when they haven't even taken the first step, the doing part yet. And then there's the people who see the opportunity and they decide to step into it. And so what this is for people, this video is for people on the edge, to remind you that you can't think yourself past a certain point of doing something you've never done before. It has to make sense to you where you're going. You have to have clarity on what that looks like. But at some point, you have to stop thinking about what it may be like, and you have to step into taking action and doing the thing that you want to do, whether it's increasing your fees significantly, serving your clients at a better level, getting rid of the pain in the butt clients, getting your life back, spending more time with family. it's like I talk to people and they think about it for 10, 20, 30 years. And at the end of their career, they have a lot of regrets. And I think that's one of the worst things. And it's so clear that if they just took the action like earlier, they would have not had to have all this regret in their life and look back on a career that was ultimately unfulfilling, where they felt like they left themselves on the table, their level of service they could provide, the clients they could work with, all because they just got so caught up in thinking. And then the doing that they were stuck in was about just getting the little piece of work done that was in front of them, not stepping back and using thinking to their advantage and taking bigger actions and better actions on the other side. And so, you know, it's just crazy to see them get stuck in those patterns. But Mike, I want to get your perspective on this too. Tell me, are there stories that you've seen, accountants? I know you work with a lot of accountants. Are there people that you've seen that have either thought themselves into a good situation and took the right actions, or somebody that you've seen who's maybe done the opposite and overthought it to the point where they don't do anything about it?
Yeah, well, I've stories for both. We'll start with the latter there, where people have overthought and just got in their own way, sabotaging themselves, right? And the simple way is, you know, we've had a few clients that come on board, and their initial thought is, before I could step into this valued advisor role, let me read another book. Let me take another course. Let me buy 2 more pieces of resources that are really going to help me get over the edge. And then by the time they find the right book, the right resources, right, and to build up that confidence, they're right back into this deadline thing, because guess what? They run out of time. So yeah, this is a great way. We've had firms in, you know, there's a firm I'm thinking of specifically in on the West Coast in the Sacramento area, where their whole game was another book, another resource. What other thing do I need to learn to make me good enough? Mm-hmm. And when we finally sat down and got really clear about what they want to do, and all they really wanted to do was impact their clients' results, really be a service to their clients, and really be able to help their clients go from where they are now to where they really want to be. Simple. When you simplified it, they were able to say, okay, I know what I want to do. Just help me do that. And it wasn't more resources. It wasn't another book. Quite honestly, it's a lot of stuff they are already doing, but putting it into the right process, stepping into action, being that advisor rather than reading about being the advisor, using what they had at their fingertips, financial reports, translating what that means, having conversations with the client. The client was calling them anyway. When they were able to identify what they wanted and to do, they could step into that role. And it was simple. And they would say, and all they said was, I wish I would have did this 10 years ago. I wish I would have just went out there and just did it, as you guys tell me. So, you know, I guess I gave you kind of both the yin and yang of that, right? It's someone who was sabotaging themselves from fulfilling work that they wanted to do, but kept telling themselves they had to think about it more. They had to learn more. They had to do more rather than just step out and do it, as you were saying. And I love that you brought that up, because so many of the people we work with are exactly in that place where it's, I just need to step up and do it. Most of us know what we need to do. It's just clarifying, who does that work best for? What role do I really want to play? And what do I need to do to go out there and really communicate that kind of value?
Yeah, I love that. And it's funny because I was asking for kind of 2 different stories, but what I love about what you did, Mike, is you shared what it means to, you shared the transition of somebody who was on one side of the story, which is, okay, we're overthinking stuff. We got to keep getting educated. We're never going to get there. We have to read another book, because, by the way, the book will give you a piece of the solution, but not the whole picture, the holistic approach. You know, that doesn't always exist in the book. So you get a few pieces here and there. What I love is that at the moment that they sat down and got clear, and in this case, it happened to be with us, but the moment that they sat down and got clear, they were able to shift from let's overthink everything. Obviously, it's not on purpose, and obviously it's not intentional, but they were able to make that transition. And then when they made the transition, now they're serving clients at a real high level, and they're earning money. I know which firm you're talking about. They're serving clients at a high level. They're making really good money. They have a lot of their time back. They're doing work that that's really rewarding. They got rid of a lot of clients that they didn't want to work with, that they felt stuck with because they were so busy thinking about how to get out of it and taking the same steps every day to stay in it. And so I love that you shared that. That was a perfect story, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, so I got a question for you too, because this comes up a lot. I obviously have my perspective on it. But what do you say? I noticed that a lot of times for accountants, it can come up for them that they don't feel like they have the confidence to take these bigger, to actually go from doing the stuff they're used to every day to making the changes that would really serve them and their clients better. So what do you say to people who may not necessarily feel totally confident about taking the next step, especially in a profession where risk is really something that we're not so, that we don't really enjoy that much?
You know, that's a great question, because a number of the people we work with or I talk to, they're already doing it. They just haven't realized it because they don't put that in the front, in front of their client. What they do is that they do it on the back end, where necessarily their butt may not be on the line, or they're not charging for it. And because it's free, I can be confident in saying it. Often we hear our clients complain about they feel more responsible for the success of their clients' businesses than their clients feel about their own business. And it's stepping out into that role and really owning it. Yet, when we say we're going to charge for it, there seems to be this idea of now I'm not as courageous, but you're already doing it. I can't emphasize that enough. These people, advisors out there, accountants out there, bookkeepers out there, because you want to serve your client, you're doing this. You're just doing it ad hoc. So number one, it's step back and look at all the advice that you're already providing, all the stuff solution-wise you're already giving away. You're already doing it. The other part is you don't really need another thing. We just came from an event where, the hot topic was, I don't need more resources. That was the excitement. Now, there's a lot of great resources out there, of course, but you don't need another resource. You don't need another whistle to blow, another bell to ring. You have a lot available to you in the sense of asking the right questions. You have the financials, identifying where, some of the pitfalls may be or where the opportunities exist, and sitting down and have that relationship with your clients. The funny thing is, people fail to realize often that your clients want you to be the solution. They want you to be a confidant. They want you to be someone that helps them obtain results. We've seen in a number of different surveys where 70% of business owners out there want more advice and more support from their accountants. So they're asking for it, they're begging for it. Sometimes we're just missing it. So, being very present and aware, step into a role with your clients where you can actually impact results. So I think that answered it. Let me know, but I think that's, where we're at.
Yeah, and I love it. And it really is a case, Mike, where a lot of this, and we're talking about stepping into the role of doing advisory work for your clients,
yes,
which is more valuable to them, number one, and most importantly. But it's also the type of work that allows the accountant to get freed up in their life and to also get the financial freedom to not only save for retirement and pay for bills, but to actually enjoy life a little bit in the process. And so as we talk about that, Mike, you're totally right. What's happening is it's an informal relationship. And so accountants are giving this stuff away informally. And because of that, a couple things happen. Number one, the accountant stays stuck in giving away valuable work. Number two is the accountant stays stuck doing all this work, like the compliance work, that's not really perceived as valuable from clients, that always is leaving them at risk for losing clients to somebody cheaper, even if you have a good relationship. So those things are at play. And, I just appreciate you bringing that up. And I think the other side of it is, stepping into that role, it's really about formalizing it. It's not that and so when accountants are unclear on it, they sort of keep themselves off of the line when they give it away. And it's a way to sort of keep yourself as an accountant sort of below your client. It's like, I'm going to give this to you. I know it helps you, but it's a way for the accountant to not take responsibility for their power. That's what it comes down to. So if you're giving away the most valuable thing, what you're really doing is you're saying to yourself in the world that I am not as valuable as the knowledge that I have. And so in that process, what happens is when you learn the right way to do it, when you learn the right way to change that conversation and to formalize the advisory stuff, which is really just about a few tweaks happening. But when you can do that, you serve number one, it's about serving your clients. And when you start to formalize that role, when you get into the doing and you stop thinking about it for years and years and years, but when you get into the doing of it, you're serving your clients at such a high level. And as you increase your fees, what happens is, and as you formalize the role, of course, what happens is you go from having clients who are taking 20% of your advice or 50% of your advice or 0% of your free advice to really making sure that the clients are bought in and that it becomes a partnership. And so when they're paying high fees, when you're doing this work together, when it's a formalized relationship, not only are you reducing your hours, you're getting more from your clients because their butts are on the line, because they're paying higher fees, so they're going to go get their homework done. And because of that, that's where you see the results, and that's where we see the results happen. So, and that brings it back to the core of this video, which is thinking versus doing. you can think about this stuff forever. You can continue to do the little things in your practice, like the compliance work that keeps you stuck on the hamster wheel of business as usual. And if you want to do that, there's no judgment. Just be very conscious that you're going to get the same results, and that this thing is not going to get somewhere in 5 or 10 years that it didn't get in the last 5 or 10 years of doing it. It doesn't magically change. And so you can think about that forever. Or the other side of it, and this is really the way to solve the problem, is to use your thinking in a way that serves you, to step back, to get clear about what it is that you'd really like your practice to look like, what you want your life to look like, and so on and so forth. And you use the thinking in that way, not to continuously roll with the same ideas for 5 or 10 or 20 or 30 years, but to use the thinking to gain clarity. And then from there, to take bold new actions. If you do the same things, you'll get the same results. And so Mike, if you have something to add to that, that's cool. And otherwise, I just want to share something with the group when you're done, to maybe support them in some way with this.
No, and you know what? I share your passion. Well, as you know, I share your passion in this, because it's, if we can just get into action, the right actions and the right activities, great things happen, And for me, I think it's just, identify what works best for you. Don't overthink it, but identify, get clear about the steps, and start to move into action, right? For me, the people we work with, it works like, for them, it's, I want to earn more by working less. So they step into this value advisor role, very clear. That's what I need to do. I have clients. People want things from me. They need things from me. We know that there's people out there begging and praying for this kind of help, right? So if we can identify the most ideal clients and services that best impact their results, because of that, we can then move into premium pricing and really being a solution, really impacting results, really making change, right? And being an advocate for good change and transformation, not just for the business, but people's lives, right? So if we can take that, we get ideal clients, we impact results, and we make a very nice living. So we're not just successful, but we're fulfilled. So I think that in a nutshell is like my agreement with everything you said and where we share our passion.
Yeah. Yep. And it's, it's so cool. And it's one thing that we've heard from our partner and our mentor, Rick Solomon, is like, we have a responsibility as accountants to really serve the people that we work with. And when we play small, and by that I mean when we're unconsciously doing the compliance work over and over again, when we play small, then we are doing a disservice to the community of people that we need to be serving at a higher level. Because every time you just do the compliance work and you're not doing more of the advisory work and you're not helping them figure out their business and get to the next level and use the numbers to make better decisions, every day that you're not doing that, there's a business owner out there, your client, who's sitting there and hoping and praying that somebody's going to come and help them and give them some advice in the areas that they don't even know that there are issues on. They just feel like something's off, or they just spent some money and they thought they had a lot of cash and now it's gone, or they just invested in a new building and now it's going to collapse their business. So when those things come up, every time that we're too busy doing other work, every time that we're too busy thinking about how we could help them one day, every time that we're just sitting there and doing what we did yesterday, then we're hurting our clients. And it's so, I know that's super direct and that's super blunt, but this is the deal, guys. We have a responsibility as an accountant, as the trusted advisor, and as the valued advisor to step into our power and knowledge and to go change the relationship and formalize the advisory role so that our clients can step up with us. And that is how all of us make our communities better and make even this world and this country a more beautiful place. Because as more businesses are thriving, as more small businesses are doing great in this country and the world, more people are empowered, more people are spending time with their families, the economy is doing better, and ultimately somebody who opened the bagel store or the plumbing business or whatever it is that your clients are doing, or the manufacturing business, those people are now accomplishing their dreams because you weren't scared to step into your power. And so that's what it's really about. There's an obligation. And you could either ignore that, or like we said, you can step into that next level. And yeah, sometimes it's scary, but it doesn't matter, because when you find the right path, it gets a lot easier. And so I guess what I want to offer everybody, Mike, I appreciate you so much for being here and sharing the passion with me, because this is what we spend our time doing every day for the last decade and a half, and you even longer, but I won't tell anybody that.
Wow, I love it. I love it. I love having these conversations with you.
Yeah.
You said, we can forever. So it's awesome that we do this.
Yeah, totally. And so really what I want to do, because we're as passionate about this as we appear to be, actually even more, I'm holding myself back, is we set aside some time in the next few days to help anybody who wants to make that transition from thinking or from the repetitive doing that's not moving them forward into a place where they can really step into formalizing the advisory role, into a place where they can really get their lives back and earn money that they should be earning for their value. And above all that, into a place where they can serve their clients in achieving their goals. And so if you want some support in doing that, I'll jump on a call with you personally, or Rick Solomon will jump on a call with you. And essentially what we want to do is just help you get clear, put some of that plan together. There's no cost for this call. And ultimately, we just want to help you get a good strategy together, gain some really good clarity, and help you put everything in front of you that we can in our time to help you move forward into taking action that's going to change your life and change your client's life, and to support you in the process of stepping into that power. So if you want to do that, you can book a call. There's a link in the box in the description of this video. Just click on it, book a call. You could leave a comment in the comment section if you want, and we'll help you that way too if you're looking to book a call if you can't find the link. But I just encourage you guys, do not be afraid of your power. And when you make that decision to move into that space, everything else comes together very easily. We can help, and there's a lot of things out there that will make it easier for you. So I just encourage you. I look forward to chatting with a handful of you. I don't think I'll be able to chat with everybody because there's a lot of you that this is going to, but ultimately we'll talk to those who are, I guess, in the best position to stop just thinking about it only and taking some bigger, different actions. So Mike, I appreciate you, man. I'm looking forward to another video. I enjoyed this one a lot because this is the stuff, as you know, that helps people change and grow and evolve. This video is one of my favorite because that's what it takes. You have to be willing to step into it. So
thank you, man. I appreciate you bringing this to the public, to the profession at large, because I know we're passionate about it, and you being a driving force and making sure we get this message out there. It's an important one. So I enjoyed this conversation like I do all of ours. But yeah, I think, getting straight to the point and saying, hey, change can be had if you're willing to take the action. So I love it. Thank you for letting me be a part of it.
Yeah, so such a pleasure. And what's cool too, and then I'll sign off with this, is that we're not talking about change for change's sake. We're not talking about change in a dangerous way, and we're not talking about doing something more risky for your business. We're talking about getting clear on what you want and strategically and consciously moving into that space in a way that feels comfortable and sometimes challenges what you've known before, but in a way that helps you move forward. So if you do want to chat, we'd love to chat with you. Mike, thanks again so much, man. And thank you everybody for watching. We'll see you again soon, and looking forward to speaking to a handful of you very shortly.